For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated. More often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast. Sharks 24, Manly Seagulls 18. The Cronulla Sharks, hold on. Just hold on. They almost blow it, don't they? Welcome to the ET Stand, the more anticipated video post-match than a Buzz Rothfield halftime video of absolutely nothing. This is the podcast that lets it's talking to the football. The debrief is brought to you by Solve Accounting for all your bookkeeping, tax, and any other financial management needs. Phil and the team can look after you. There's a comment in the link. Phil does support the podcast and helps us out with some stuff. Do support them because they support us. But also supporting me is the spiritual leader of the debrief. And he is here with his Dinobot Island t-shirt on. I call him Franco. His name's Steven Franklin. Mate, welcome to the debrief.
G'day, buddy. How are you?
Mate, good. What'd you make of the match?
Oh, I'll tell you what, that first half was certainly, what would they say, a game for the purists. I know we sort of went bang bang at the end there, but there was a lot of scrappy play from the Sharks in that first half.
It was, wasn't it?
But no, good back and forth, good up and down, both in terms of the players on the field and your emotions. So got a bit of everything out of that one.
That's true. All right, well, you can hear Franco and I live on YouTube right now, Facebook, and we're also streaming live to Instagram. So if you found us via Instagram, and I don't think it's the best viewing experience, Instagram, Franco loves social media. It's like your favorite thing.
We don't always all of the things.
We don't always stream live to Instagram, so if you want a better experience, go find us on YouTube. And for those on audio on delay, we're on Spotify and all of those regular places. And it's not just me with Franco, it's also you guys in the comments. So do say good day as you're coming into the stream in the comments. We've already got the Rob Valensky. He's in. Anytime we beat the Eagles is a good day. Well, it is, Rob, because our record absolutely sucks against the Seagulls. So that's kind of lucky for us too. There we've got the Discord link coming in as well. So if you want to join the show, you can come in and say good day and give us your thoughts on the match. Franco, how did you watch that match?
Honestly, I was laid out on a bed with a beer in hand. Probably not on the TV that I would have chosen had I had free reign of the household, but still got a good watch. So it was nice.
Are you more confident of a top four finish now or not?
I mean, look, if I got to stick to my guns from the beginning of the season, I said we'd be a top four team. So I've got to hold out hope that that's going to continue and we're going to get.
Are you more
better
confident now or less
than the beginning of the season?
Yeah,
a little bit less. But at the same time, you know, some of the teams you would have thought would have been competitive maybe aren't as competitive, and some of the other teams that you thought weren't competitive are pretty good right now. But can they hold that up for the full season? That's going to be something we're going to watch and see. I'm not so sure that the Bulldogs are this dark horse that everyone's talking about. I know there's a lot of fans out there and they're playing good football with great defence, but they've got to keep that up all season, and they haven't really had an opportunity to show that yet. So let's see what they do.
All right, well, let's get into the Franco files, where Franco gives us the rundown on all of the key moments from the match, including what James Munro was calling out here, the Trindle 4-try assist match. So we will cover that. And we're also going to cover off Daniel Atkinson as a bench player. And has that run its course or not? Also, let us know in the comments if you think that's run its course. Franco, give us the rundown. What were the key moments?
Sure. As I mentioned, there wasn't too much in terms of troubling the score in the early part of that first half. But in the 35th minute, after a half break from Talakai, we get a set and good attacking position. Stone Street goes close, but is held up. However, one play later, Trindle wraps around the short side and throws a three-man cutout pass to Stone Street, who has to reach out and pull it back with his fingertips before diving over the line to score. It was a great hands from Stone Street, who was leaning over the sideline as he regathered it. You could almost argue that it made the pass look better than it was. Still very impressive. Great to see. I'd also, if I'm putting the cat amongst the pigeons, say, do we think Katoa would have scored in that earlier one that Stone Street was held up on, where he cut back in? I think Katoa would have gone for the corner and done a little bit of acrobatics and maybe got something a bit earlier for us. But still, a score is a score, and well done to the team.
Yeah, that's the one where he puts it out in front of him, wasn't it? And so actually by putting it out so far in front of him, that grab and that lunge that he gets receiving the ball just helps him get over the line. Oh, that's a good try. Geez, he enjoys scoring tries, Sam Stone Street, doesn't he?
He's very good at finding the stripe. In the 39th minute, Manly, with a bit of ill discipline, give away a penalty. Trindle with a booming kick gets us into great position for an attacking set. It was awesome. Do it more often.
I'm going to do that every time.
Ah, seriously. Taking how many penalty kicks for touch do you make? Just practice.
Do that every time. I don't understand why they can't do that every time.
Risk versus reward, I imagine.
At least more.
Yeah. So they play the ball. So we got to play the ball from the center of the field. Nico to Trindle. Trindle then straightens up before dummying inside to Nickera. This holds up the defense, and Trindle then takes it to the line, grubbering through to the corner, where Stone Street pounces on it for his second. And we go into the break 8-0. So that was pretty good. I'm going to say, look, when he kicked it, when he put it to boot, I was like, "Ooh, what's going on there? Is that right?" But yeah, he saw the gap, got it through, and I was very happy to see the Stone Street in the right place at the right time
with a nice bounce.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was a good play by Trindle. He was just, and look, Nickera really made that. And all those angling runs that they got from Nickera just gets them in two minds just thinking, and then terrific kick and just the speed of Stone Street, which I'm sure you're going to talk on later. Pretty useful. But I still think Katoa's better, Franco.
Yeah, look,
he's better.
I'm thinking Katoa is definitely straight in when he's fit and healthy, but tell you what, Stone Street is a very handy backup, and stranger things have happened in league. You never know what might happen. He's certainly going to get a lot of first grade games.
That's true.
In the 43rd minute, in what I'm sure we'll discuss later, Kennedy collects a high bomb on the full just inside our 20 and goes the length of the field for a no try. It was called back for a Stone Street escort. As I said, I'm sure everyone's going to want to have a bit of a chat about this one as to whether or not that was legitimate. But however, in the 46th minute, from about 15 out, we go right through the hands. Hines to Trindle to Kennedy to an under pressure Ramian. Ramian's able to hold his ground though, and Kennedy gets behind him for the offload. Manly rush up on him, and he's able to swerve through the traffic. He puts a bit of a goosey on and throws a dummy to Talakai, which fools DCE for technically the second time before diving over next to the post.
So good.
Try time, baby. I'm also going to say, after these last couple of plays, which we didn't really yet go into the details of the Kennedy no try, but I'm going to say Kennedy's goosey is better than Mulatalo's. So how's that?
I like Kennedy's dummy, Franco. That's now a thing.
That is now a thing.
That's now
Absolutely.
A thing. I really enjoyed that. He had a particularly good game, Kennedy. I reckon it's going to be tough to not give him man of the match, surely.
Absolutely. I think that's going to be the Fox Dally M 3 points for sure. In the 52nd minute, I guess we aren't able to defend a Ronaldo error. In the center of the field, 20 out, Manly make a charge through the field before a scrappy offload out the back to DC, who fumbles it backwards. Several guys rush up, and our structure is now out the window. There's players dropping off tackles, arm grabs, and players failing to come across in cover. Ruben Garrett gets the ball and grubbers through for Clayton Falala to score. This was pretty ugly, pretty soft, and there were plenty of plays in and around the ball that should have stopped this before it got to the try line.
Yeah, that was a frustrating one. The bounce up for them was helpful.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have got that far.
Definitely.
Absolutely just a schmozzle in terms of, being in the right place and committing to the tackle. But there was certainly a few people blowing up in the Discord on the game day chat there for that one. So then in the 56th minute, Sharkies on the attack. Trindle pops up a short ball for a hard-running Nickera. If he collects it, we probably score. However, Brooks positions himself well to grab the intercept and run 80, scoring untouched. So that is, as we heard earlier, spoilers, that's the third try assist for Trindle. Correct.
Jimmy Munro coming through with the goods again.
In the 63rd minute, Trindle and Hines get us a repeat set, one with a torpedo bomb and the other with applying the in-goal pressure. After an ineffectual goal line dropout, the Sharks go on the attack. Heading left, the Sharks have shape ready for something. Trindle to Hines, who double pumps, sucking in the defenders before giving it to Ronaldo, who's playing one in. He's able to get it out to Hiroti on the wing, who dives over to score. That's 2 from 2 games from Hiroti. Very nicely done. And talking about handy players and handy backups, Hiroti has not let us down in the last several years, and he's shown that he is definitely fine in first grade. In the 74th minute, we get a repeat set, dubiously, some might say. Sharks fans would say rightfully so, off the back of a contested bomb. Peppering the Manly line, we threaten on a couple of surges, but on what you might call a Roosters play, we have both Hazelton and Kafusi charging at the line, and Brayley goes short to Hazelton, who crashes over and scores his first for the year. Certainly something we saw the Roosters do several years ago. I think I would have called it a Jason Taylor special. I think he got all of the kudos for that one, where the multiple bookends running hard at the line for a crash tackle play. You don't know who to mark up on, giving a bit of space for them, and it worked well for us here. And then in the 79th minute, another intercept sees Manly go 80. But this 80 started a little earlier than the last, and Tommy Talau is tackled 15 out, being run down by Mulatalo. However, it is to no avail, as Manly have a quick play of the ball and gets to that DCE, who scores under the posts. This was Trindle's 4th try assist, but thankfully we still hold out in the last dying 30 seconds, with the Sharks winning their home away from home match, their second in a row in Perth, 24 points to 18. Nico kicking 2 from 5.
The kicks hurt us, didn't they, Franco? Just didn't allow us to kick away.
The kicks certainly hurt us there. Now, there were some tough kicks, but we have seen when Nico's on song, he nails those. So it was a bit of a shame, and it certainly would have put a bit more of a dent in Manly's step. But that said, nothing like a Sharks game to take it down to the wire.
Well, we said it came through in the Discord, where the comment was, when they're not coming at us and winning the game, we're letting them back in.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
two intercepts, that try in the right-hand corner where we just didn't tackle them down.
Yeah,
it's not
there
really.
Was, a bit of ill discipline and poor errors, I should say, that sort of dented what we were trying to do. It wasn't picture perfect, that's for sure. But we got the job done, and we collected the Steve Rogers Cup.
All right, let's go through some of these comments, Franco. So Stuart Campbell in the comments saying he's live from the stadium and is saying to us to go easy because it's uncomfortably hot there, even now at 3:30 p.m. The NRL dropped the ball with the scheduling on this. I think that's probably right. They look absolutely knackered, those players, didn't they?
Yeah,
especially Kennedy when he's running it.
Players cramping out everywhere as well, so certainly feeling the heat. I'm not sure the NRL has an option in terms of time, but yeah, you're right, Stuart. Maybe they could have had this game later on in the season when it's a bit cooler.
Harley's in the comments saying Sharks won a game. You beauty. That's right, Harley. Good to see you in here. Rob is making a laugh emoji at something. I can't remember what he was laughing at, but who knows? And Rob also in the comments, Valensky calling out rubbish that guys decided to take a tap. Not Stone Street's fault. I think he's referring to the that
Kennedy
try.
no try.
Oh, so, yeah. Yeah, he's referring to. Yeah, that was absolute BS. The Kennedy no try. He was just running backwards towards the thing. I thought that was tough. Didn't you?
Yeah, we didn't really get a good look at it, or at least maybe I didn't get a good look at it. You can correct me if I'm wrong. It sort of looked like we only got, apart from the live play, maybe only got one. We only got one look at it with the video ref going, "Yep, that's what happened." So I, looking at different things and not quite sure where Stone Street's eyes were, where he was looking, but he certainly pushes the Manly player out of the way, which Kennedy runs through. If he's looking at the ball and not doing that deliberately, play on. But if he's looking at the Manly player and changing his angle, all those key indicators, then unfortunately, yeah, it's a no try. But that
Yeah, but
said,
that's not a
it's
penalty
worth.
if he doesn't score the try, Franco. If
No,
that's
it's
not a
missed.
try.
You're right. If he doesn't score the try, it's missed, and we get a play the ball theoretically 5-10 out from the try line and maybe score on the next play. It's just, yeah, one of the quirks of the game. Can't get angry at that. Kennedy thought he was onto a winner there, and so did most of us
Great
watching the
try.
game.
It's a shame that wasn't a try. That was pretty good fun.
Yeah, and we've spoken about speed. Like, it was certainly funny watching Kennedy try and get on his bike. He looked like he was running in quicksand there. He did get some pace after he got to the halfway line, but Stone Street just flew up the outside, which gave him that option to throw the dummy, which fooled DCE to get to there. So if he doesn't get that support on the outside, then it's a no try. So that's just one of those benefits of having guys out there that can make up for lost time.
Reminded me of the great Nathan Gardner try, where Gardner was sprinting through the Roosters players, and then Leon Bott, who was absolutely outrageously fast, just seemed like just jogging nicely next to Nathan Gardner, as Nathan Gardner's absolutely exhausted.
Legs going like duck legs underwater.
Exactly. Delmo is in the comments saying Kennedy was the peach in disguise. Let's talk about Will Kennedy. Delmo, we're going to use your comment there to get into that as we talk about. I thought he had a particularly good game early on. I take notes during as I'm watching the game for the different talking points. And you can tell how much a player is involved in the game and what they do, whether positive or negative, based on how much we've written. I've got a lot of things written on Will Kennedy. I thought he had a particularly good game. I didn't like him letting the ball bounce on one of those bombs. But other than that, I really couldn't fault his game for the entire match. There was that brilliant moment where the ball was kicked through to him and he couldn't pick it up, so he just kicks it forward and traps it play forward, Lionel Messi. And then, look, there's a saying that my brother and I have, which is sometimes you just want to throw the ball to a player in your team and they just score. And when you've got really good players, you just need them to score somehow. And Will Kennedy ended up with the ball on the 20-meter line and just jinked through a few players. He had no right to score that try then, Franco. It was one of his better games. And maybe the pressure of the contract's helping him, Franco.
Yeah, pressure is on. He needs to perform. I thought he had a particularly good game. Look, under the high ball, that's been his bread and butter now for a couple of seasons. He is safe as houses. Sure, he might drop one. You got angry at him last year for dropping a kickoff or something, but
shouldn't have dropped that kickoff, Will Kennedy. I'm still annoyed.
He's very good under the high ball. So look, he from a defensive point of view under the high ball, he's very good. So taking that out of his game, he still had a very strong game today. He was in everything. He was full of energy, especially when you consider the heat that was raised earlier by people that were at the ground. It was something to see that he was not only doing his usual backline plays. A lot of people have asked that he does some trailing up the center and looking for offloads and whatnot, and he did a bit of that today. Not a lot, but he did a bit of that today. So hopefully some people took note of that and see if he maybe adds that to his game a little bit more as the weeks progress.
All right, let's go through some more of these comments as they come through. Glenn Thompson in the comments says, A relief to get the win. Goal kicking was an off day, and Will Kennedy enormous for us. There we go. Tomo agreeing with that. And then the next comment, we've got James Munro, another try off a stupid Ronaldo error. Juggled it and then acted like a clown in the tackle to drop it. He needs to stop stupid brain fades like this. Look, I was pretty critical of Ronaldo, and he's one of my favourite players. On last week's Tuesday night episode on the ET stand, he was the lowest he's ever been on my player ranking tiers. The challenge, that was at least good.
That challenge, that was silly.
But it was successful.
Yes, it was successful, but it was one of those ones where we were never getting the ball back, even if it was successful. So at best, which it was, it's a Manly play the ball on the spot. At worst, it continues to be the penalty, and we've lost our challenge in the first 15 minutes of the match. So, yeah, lucky, but look, I wouldn't have wasted the potential challenge there for that one. That was very lucky.
What about the one where they did Toby challenged, and they actually did knock the ball out of his hand there? They didn't show it for long enough. He did actually get it.
Those are always 50-50 though, so...
Yeah, all right. Anyway, going back to James Munro's comment on Ronaldo, he also was playing a bit of centre, and so on the Hiroti try, you could see him in field. Yeah, I don't know about Ronaldo at the moment.
He's great. He's good. Yes, he's a bit of a hothead. I would prefer if a few of our players actually tried to stop milking the penalty, or stop laying around and playing for it, because
he milked the Crusher one well. He milked that pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, it comes off, but there's also countless times where we're on a run and defense is slow to get back, and you lay on the ground trying to milk the penalty when a quick play of the ball probably gets us more advantage than the penalty would have. So
milk the penalty. I thought it was good. What are you talking about? Get it in the comments. You like Ronaldo milking the penalties or not? I reckon it was good. Rob in the comments,
bloody duck style, bloody hold the face. No, just play the game.
Rob in the comments is saying the Toby one was borderline. All right, maybe. We'll see how that goes. Rob. Chris Glazer in the comments says that escort from Stone Street was rubbish. That type of minimal escorting happens on every bomb in every game. I think that's right. And then Latino, Scotty Latino in his hockey mask there commented saying, wasn't sure if that was tricky or not out there with those intercepts. 2 intercepts. Boy, they were big. They basically let them back in the match.
Yeah, the first one, that was just, Brooks, well done, mate. It happens from time to time. The second one,
the minute left, wide,
didn't need to do that second one. That was just silly play. So yeah, bit of blood rush, or things have been going well for him. Probably shouldn't have thrown that last one. And it helps us out a bit there by for and against, and looking a little bit better on paper. But ultimately, if it comes off, he's hailed a hero. So
yeah, it was a cutout pass was on then. The short pass was a bad one. If he finds the outside, they're scoring, aren't they? Rob Valensky's also, geez, Rob, you're on good fire with the comments today. You can see post game that Tricky really down in himself, and I like that. Yeah, I think you want to get over it pretty quickly, though, don't you? You want to oh well.
James he was
a goldfish.
He was certainly full of pep and vigor at the halftime interview. So he'll look at that game, and overall, I think he had a good game. I don't think anyone's going to say he didn't have a good game because of those two intercepts. I mean, they're certainly blemishes, but overall, he controlled.
He was pretty
game
creative and pretty good.
Yeah,
he seems to be. He's still outshining his partner, isn't he, Nico Hines, a little bit?
No, I don't think so.
Look, bit, not much.
Yeah, look, I guess it depends on what you want to categorize as outshining, or what you want to look for in a half. Ultimately, look, they're working well together, right? They're passing to one another. Sometimes one's on the ball than the other. when one's kicking, the other one's chasing. It swings and roundabouts, right? Then you look at today's stats sheet. While Trindle's probably front of mind because of those 2 try assists in the first half, Nico Hines still got a good try assist there, or at least good try involvement.
No, that was Nico's. That was a Nico try assist. That one with the double pump one with that was him.
I mean, that was, if we really dig into that one, that just sort of shows how they both work well for the Sharks, right? Because Trindle faked to Wilton, who was running the line. So he faked to Wilton, which held up some defence. Then he went out the back to Hines, then Hines double pumped, which held up the defence again, going to Montalo, who then out to Hiroti. So, both of them doing the right thing in the right play at the right time. So it's just, better the way we've got this structure with halves playing on the same side of the field instead of one on one side, one on the other side. I think it's working well for us, and I think commentators are it's easy to sort of try and point a finger and say one player is playing better than the other than looking at the nuances of the game.
Just noticed I didn't have the debrief banner up there on the top left, Franco. I'll just fix it up. Go me.
Amateur hour. Gosh.
Oh, just absolute amateur hour from me, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Just absolute amateur hour. All right, let's keep going through these comments as they keep coming through. Chris Kelly with the comment here saying that the AFB with the try saver was immense.
Yeah.
When
he
was
had
that?
no right to be there, did he? He was in
When was the try saver?
In the corner. So he came across and
yeah,
that was awesome. That was I was when he made that tackle, I was gobsmacked. Yeah, that was fantastic. But speaking of AFB, limped off with an injury, seen with ice strapped to his quad or groin while they were taking the photo for the Steve Rogers Cup. So watch this space, probably nervously, I guess. Hopefully it was just minor and he's back next week, but all these sorts of things are a bit scary.
Yeah, what'd you make of him flying in late? Do you think that affected his game today? I thought it was an off game compared to what we might have seen from him previously.
No, I don't think so. Look, both him and Nickera flew in late. It was reported because of family issues or personal issues. They got there. They're professionals. They rocked up. I think they both had a good game. AFB obviously is someone that a lot of people look to since he's generally immense. And if you look at the stats sheet, maybe you might go, oh, he didn't punch as hard as he has been in the last few rounds. But look, as CK mentioned there, that cover tackle was awesome. And not to mention he got less minutes than what he normally would due to that injury. We don't know how long he was on the field carrying that. So I think, a bit harsh to say he had a quiet game. I think he did really well.
Yeah, okay. Rob's come through in the comments. A couple of dodgy offloads, not at his best.
Let's go back to that one, Rob. Yeah, 2 dodgy offloads. Look, we being CK and I have certainly praised Kafusi for his offloads, that he generally has a look out the back, make sure it's safe to do so, and then pops it out. It's not a little dribble down the bottom. It's not a Hail Mary. Instead of dodgy offloads, I'd sort of like to see a few more people sniffing around for those offloads, because 9 times out of 10, it's just Brayley standing around ready to play the ball, and he's flat-footed, not running at speed, and we're sort of taken by surprise. We've got so many good offloaders between AFB, Kafusi, Talakai. We should be ready for that. We should be looking for that second phase play, right? You see Canberra do it all the time. It really saps the energy of the defense. So we should take advantage of it more often than not, instead of going, oh, that was a dodgy offload.
Rob in the comments saying, I like sniffers. Please take that the right way. All right, look, we are going to have to discuss it. So Benjamin Turner's put it in the comments. Is Atkinson on the bench over? Goodness me. I was thinking as we were watching this match about the Tuesday night show and what would be the lead headline for the Tuesday night show. And I think it is going to be a picture of Daniel Atkinson asking, is Atkinson on the bench over? Get it in the comments. What's your opinion on this? It seems to be the pressing issue right now for the Sharks. And I think it's just impacting a whole bunch of the team elsewhere. We've got 25 minutes for AFB, where normally your first forward for the Sharks are traditionally done 20 minutes. We've got, we just don't seem, they just seem to lose their cohesion.
Yeah. I guess to say it's over, we'd need to know why it started in the first place. We before round one said, don't do it. So if
why
it
do we think it
continues-
started? Why do we think it started? I know what I think the answer is.
All right, you go.
They were thinking that they wanted to re-sign Daniel Atkinson, and he played well as a replacement for Nico and Trindle when they were injured. And they thought that he was one of the best 17 players, and they needed to get him in the team no matter what, find a spot for him. And they thought if they could give him a bench spot, that might help us retain him. Now, he's now no longer one of the best 17 players, and we now no longer need to worry about retaining him. And he's playing 12, 13 minutes a week, not having much impact, and the situation's changed. So I don't see...
He signed with the Dragons before round one, so I don't know why we're putting him on the
bench.
bench.
But we were playing him on the bench. We played him on the bench against the Panthers.
Yeah, and he'd signed before then.
No, in the semi-final.
Yeah, okay, but
we were playing him on the bench then. I mean, he played on the bench versus Manly. So he played the last 4 matches off the bench last season.
Correct. Yeah, and then we worked out that probably wasn't the best thing, and he was dropped off the team. So why he's there? You're right. Maybe they think he is in the best 17. He certainly covers a lot of positions if something goes wrong. But as we've discussed, if Talakai is in the team, I don't believe he's needed. We've got Talakai who can shift to center, understanding that his body shape has changed and his fitness has changed because he's now focusing for that bench spot. But in a pinch, he's still a good center. He's still got those soft hands. He knows his combinations well.
Are you just arguing the different point from me just because that's what you do?
No, I just...
Or you think he should be in the team?
No, I definitely don't think he should be in the team. But it's difficult to say. It's difficult to say that the experiment's over when we don't know what the experiment was for. So we don't know why he was in the team. He's there for a role. We just don't see it. I'd love
he's cover for
to be a fly on the wall, because as far as a utility is concerned, I don't think he's the best utility for the team. As far as playing, a middle lock role, Talakai's better at that as well, and Cam plays big minutes. He's not an edge back rower. He's not a prop. So if you look at his stats, ignoring how many hit ups or run meters or whatever, because sometimes that's opportunistic and sometimes he does a good job there, especially considering only 12 minutes. But his play the ball is slow. It's almost a full second longer than the other guys. He's slowing their ruck speed down. He doesn't have the strength to really do that much. We just lose a bit of muscle when he's on the field, and it doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, we can't say that he's not going to be there next week. He probably will, especially if
he's not quick play the ball. So if you look at Cameron McInnes, so McInnes has the fastest average play the ball speed of all the Sharks players at 3.07 seconds. And so whilst I'm critical of Cam at times, that is one thing he is good at, and Daniel Atkinson doesn't have that. And look, let's go through the comments. Someone who was it up here said that once he came on for Sifa, we looked a bit of a mess. Where is this comment? Let's go find it. Oh well, I'll go through them all.
Yeah.
And find
So
it.
while you're looking for that, it's one of those things where if AFB is injured and he's not going to be playing next week, unfortunately, Atkinson's probably a cert to be on the bench. But
what if Hamlin Ueli was available?
If there's a fit and healthy team, I just can't see why Atkinson's on the bench. I just can't see it. Don't understand.
All right, let's go through these comments and see if people agree with you. Mazdad says, yes, it's over. Tomo says, yes, it's over. 2.0 saying, did it ever start? Mazdad's calling for time for Jesse or Peru. Tomo then
Peru
coming
would be a good addition for sure. And
But he's going to play the
No.
same way, isn't he?
No, Peru's good. And Jesse, well, Sharks Junior coming through the ranks, love to see him get a crack for sure.
How's Peru? Yeah, right. Okay.
No, different Peru. The new twin Peru, Hohepa.
So not halfback Peru.
Not halfback Peru. No.
All right. I was thinking halfback Peru. I was like, why would you bother doing that? All right. James Moran and Big Tukes would have been immense coming in instead of Atkinson. I agree with that. Then Rob saying, with the scarcity of quality forwards for the last few weeks, Atkinson makes sense when we have more on the deck. Maybe not. He's agreeing with you there, Franco. And then Rob says, if he's on, at least let him kick the ball in general. Yeah. Then we say a lot of comments saying, but don't release him. Yeah, definitely not releasing him. There's no point doing that. Rob agrees in the comments. Talakai covers too many positions for Atkinson to be in there. We're going to come back to that comment, Rob, on Talakai. Let's just cover off anything else. The Jets are calling for Atco. They're on the phone right now. Adelmo, he gets manhandled.
Yeah,
he's referring to
manhandled. Yeah, which is what we're talking about. Slow play the balls and not able to slow up the opposition ruck.
Yeah, that's right. All right, let's get back to this comment here. Talking on Talakai. 22 minutes. He was so good when he was on. We're just not getting enough value out of the tank.
Yeah, it's tough when you've got players that can play 80 minutes, right? Our back row and lock can all play 80 minutes. But that said, he's a gun. He's amazing, and yeah, I'd like to see him get more minutes.
I would have played I'd rather have 16 and not have played Atkinson at all and just left bloody Talakai out.
That's kind of one of those weird things, right? I was going to mention it earlier. Like the 12 minutes from Talakai is almost a pity stint, right? It's like, you're on the bench, you flew this way. It might give someone a bit of a breather. So here, I have 12 minutes. But surely Talakai can last an extra 12 minutes on the field and get a bit more out of him for that. Yeah.
Ben Turner in the comments saying Rudolph and Siffer were game changers today. That I definitely agree with.
It's one of those things as well. I guess giving credit to Siffer and Rudolph, and you know what? Even Tommy had a good game off the bench. So our bench was good, and that's sort of what we spoke about last season about having four big boppers coming on and just rolling and giving the opposition no breather because every one of them just keeps steamrolling. But you got to give a bit of credit to AFB and Kafusi for taking the sting out of the Manly team those first 20, 30 minutes within that heat. That was a bit of a slogfest. So they did well.
Here's one for you, Franco.
All right.
Second controversial opinion. Would Talakai add more than Cam at lock?
I've already said he would. But look, he adds different to Cam. Cam has got an engine that goes and goes. He's the Energizer Bunny. He's great in defense.
Fast play the ball.
He will do the gal thing, right? Whether we want him to do or not, he will do the gal thing where if players are buggered and no one's willing to put their hand up, he will be there. Whether it's in attack or defense, he will turn up. Haven't seen a game from Talakai in the center where we can confidently say he will also do that. And I would say that Cam is a bit of a linchpin at the moment. So, look, while Talakai certainly gets all the flashy plays and does some pretty impressive stuff, I think Cam McInnes is certainly a starting lock because we've seen when he comes off the bench, he's not as impactful as we'd like.
I think that's probably right. And Tomo in the comments is saying the beauty of Sefer is he is impact. When he starts, he does change his game. Cam as a starter. I think that's probably right. All right, let's go through a few of these other players that we've not perhaps touched on just yet. Quiet game from Ramian again. He took the ball over the sideline area. Couple of errors. Stupid pass with 10 minutes to go. Yeah, I'd maybe had Ramian too high on the player ratings this month, didn't I, Franco? I reckon
Yeah.
he's going backwards.
Yeah, I'm a little bit off Ramian at the moment, and it's always hard with Ramian because when he misses a game, geez, we feel it. We notice that he's not there.
His defense is so good.
He's just a rock solid bullet a gate. He's in everything. He tries hard, but gosh, he's rocks and diamonds, and lately he's been a bit more rocks than diamonds. So he's certainly on the field doing something well for us. The team needs him there, but you know, I'd just like to see a bit more from him.
Yeah, I think it was Hugh in the Discord channel during the match was saying that he looks like he's missing Katoa.
Yeah, actually, that's right. He did, didn't he? That was a good shout out from Hugh.
Yeah. Well, we're obviously not going to drop Jesse Ramian, obviously.
No, we're not.
So just how you get.
But they're also
maybe
not,
the slickness of the attack as well.
They're not talking about Ramian for Origin like they
were
last year, are they?
No, no, they're not. Now let's talk about Marwin Halote. How good was he?
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Man.
Scott Latino's favorite Sharks player of all time. Look, I think Matty Russell, and just a quick shout out, Matty Russell, in my opinion, has got to be, if not the best, one of the best callers for rugby league at the moment. He's so good. He's so entertaining to listen to. But he called out, Hiroti last year, 1 game for 1 try. The year before, 1 game for 1 try. This year, 2 games for 2 tries. He's just doing what we need him to do at all times. I know there was not this past year, but before that Souths game, there was a lot of people cranky that we re-signed him, and you got to remember that we re-signed him on next to nothing. Like, he was a development player last year, and he comes in, does a job like that. For the Jets, he covers everything. He's sort of MVP for the Jets, really, in terms of Mr. Versatile. And yeah, he comes up, gets called up to first grade, and does a great job. I don't know, Rob, is Hiroti 2 games for 3 tries? Did he score 2 tries last week? I'm trying to remember.
Someone confirm that in the comments for us and let us know. It's always hard for us to go.
He's point is he can find
Look, he's a good next man up. So I don't have any
absolutely.
Problem. Here he is. Rob's checking now. Here we go, Rob. We're just eagerly waiting the answer before we can look. That's what you want from Hiroti. And he also played some wing time. So you notice that Ronaldo Mulatalo was on the inside. Mike, we spent a bit. Glenn Thompson. Hiroti has developed from COVID times when he was called up. He's doing well and putting pressure on the first graders. I think that's probably right. I can't see Hiroti displacing Jesse Ramian, though. Or Kale Iro. I think we are missing Kale Iro, that's for sure. Mike's asked us to comment on Mulatalo. His emotional immaturity causing the drop ball that started the Sea Eagles comeback.
We touched on that earlier.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Another comment, Mike. But ultimately, when he gets it right, that emotion is well placed. But when he gets it wrong, you scratch your head a little bit for sure.
Yeah, there we go. And Rob's confirming that no, only one. I was wrong. Yeah, well.
Franco, yes.
Franco through the goods. He's given Franco a rare moment. All right, let's look at some of the other players. AFB we touched on. Kafusi, I don't think he's in as good a form as he was last season either. How many minutes did he get? He got 17 and then 15. That's a short amount of time.
Yeah, he didn't have. I mean, like, we're talking about AFB maybe nursing an injury, coming off. Even with that in mind, Kafusi was still 10 minutes less on the field than AFB. So I don't know. Obviously, we don't have the GPS data. We don't know what their loads are at training and who has the bigger engine. But you gotta remember that they're doing slightly different roles, even though they're both props. So AFB's normally hitting the line hard and trying to push through for those post-contact meters, whereas Kaufusi's normally hitting the line and turning, looking for that offload, dragging in defenders who are trying to wrap up the ball. So there's a little bit of a different style of play between the two.
I'll tell you who had a big game. Tommy Hazelton was also pretty good. He had a massive fantasy score. Obviously, he got the try. But 132 run meters. He didn't have a huge amount of minutes. In terms of the forwards, he ran up the most meters, only been beaten by Stone Street, Ramanian and Hiroti for meters. Tommy Hazelton. Big minutes, 38 minute stint and then a 9-minute stint towards the end. One of his better games. Is he going to be able to be in the shot for a 3-2-1, Franco?
Oh, look, not from me, unfortunately.
Really?
But yeah, no, look, he did well. And like I said, all of with an asterisk, all of our bench did well. So I think they did their job. But no, he doesn't get any points from me. He was the Tommy of last year, and I'd like to see him back that up with a repeat performance, because there were a few people calling him out earlier on in the season, and whether or not that was because of his back injury and how that's been maybe hampering him, who knows? But this game was a Tommy of last year, and I think it's good to see, and hopefully that continues.
All right, fair enough. Oh, look at this. You've got a lovely comment here from Ben Turner giving you a rap here, Franco, saying, even when I'm thinking something different, when I listen to Franco, I tend to agree. Awesome insight into the game, Franco.
Thank you very much.
You're on point tonight, Franco. I'll give you that. And then 2.0 comes through with the comments. I didn't know Ronaldo's issues are what caused Tricky to throw 2 intercepts. Cheeky bugger. I was hoping that 2.0 was going to join us and try and give us the rundown.
Yeah, we haven't put the link up for anyone to join, actually.
I thought we did it at the top.
Did we?
Yeah, it's there. Look. There it is.
Oh, look, there you go. Anyone who wants to join, there's the link.
Anyone who wants to join again, we'll just go put it in there. There's the link. If anyone wants to join, you can come in and join. I was hoping, Rob, you did not. Yeah, didn't we? All right, fair enough. All right, an error occurred. All right, yeah, I've got an error coming through here saying that it showed up. Didn't you guys can see that? Maybe it's not coming up on Facebook.
Maybe it's not coming up on Facebook. I mean, we did schedule this for 3 days ago at 3:30 p.m. So,
all right, I'm gonna go. Just here he is, 2.0, joining us. Let's get him in. I'm gonna have to. Rob's joining as well. We'll go 4 screens. Let's get him. We'll go.
This will be a mess.
This is gonna be a bit of a mess. Yeah, let me just let me switch to that way, and then hold on. I'm gonna have to change the side. Look, Rob, we're gonna give you the screen here. Can you guys see that? How are you, Rob?
I'm tops. How about you guys?
Mate, very well. What'd you make of that game?
Well, like I said at the top of the thing, anytime we beat the Weagles, I'm a happy man. Like, having grown up in that area, it makes me a happy man.
Yeah, well, you've been on fire with the comments tonight. You got one wrong against Franco, though. What are you going to do with that?
Well, that happens, Can't be 100% right. It's okay. Even the best players make mistakes, dodgy pass or something.
That's probably true. What'd you make of Atkinson? Has he done? Are we done with this, Rob, or what?
Like I said, I feel that with the injuries we've had to the forwards, it's made a sort of bit of sense, and also with Nico with his groin, I think that's why he's been in there. But if we have a return of forwards, and it's looking with AFB, that's a bit dodgy, right? Atco will probably remain in the short term. When we have everybody on deck, is that the right decision? I would suggest it is not.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. 2.0, did you get to watch the oh God, what are you doing here? Did you get to watch
audio listeners? Williams 2.0 is played by a giant Stone Street cutout head.
Yeah, did you manage to watch the press conference 2.0?
I got a bit of it in, mate. I didn't get all of it in. Basically, I have got notes for you, though, my friend.
Look at you go.
I've got notes for you because I tried my best and I had to go to the toilet and the kids are upstairs banging around. I had to sort it all out. But anyway, he pretty much said he's happy with the defensive side of it. To only really let in 6 points, through defense. The other two, obviously, Tricky's beautiful assists.
Yeah.
They're one of the better attacking teams in the comp. But honestly, I didn't see that during the game. I thought they were absolutely average. I thought we were average for most of the game as well. But, you know, the other thing I asked about was the travel. He says he actually doesn't mind it. The boys don't mind it. It's a time for them to bond. But it's also time to give back to the families when able, because obviously they're on the road so much. I think we went, Vegas, which is a 14-hour, so 28 return, 3 to 6 hour return. I think it's a 6 hour return to Townsville, then a 12-hour return to Perth, and we've got plenty more to come up in the next month. I think, you know, it's time for them to bond and to get those combinations really well. And the other thing you got asked about was obviously, surprise, Nico and Trindle, how their combinations coming about. He pretty much said Nico looks like he's getting back in the mood for footy. I thought that at times today where he was running the ball straight back into the holes. I don't think he has the speed from 2 to 3 years ago, or he's just not sure about his body. The way he looks ginger when he's trying to take that line on, or he's not taking it on the exact point he's supposed to be taking it on. But you saw it today. I think everyone will talk about Tricky getting the 2 try hits. The kick was beautiful. How it bended away from everyone and straight into Stone Street's lap. But they were playing the same side a lot more. They were playing. Nico might not have thrown the last ball for the Stone Street try, but he threw the ball to Tricky to throw to the Stone Street. So they're connecting a far lot better today. Did it always come off? No, it's not always going to come off, but you can see that connection point hitting it up pretty well. So overall, he was pretty happy with their performance today.
Well, I've got to be happy with a win, and just got to be happy with my ability to change the layouts on the fly whilst we were mid-show. Go Boldo. All right, we'll get the 3, 2, 1.
The chief, mate.
I do have one quick question. I don't want to give you an over and slather there 2.0, but you are a little bit of a Kennedy knocker, I would say. But I saw a comment there from you saying that he was immense. So had a good game, you reckon?
I gave Stone Street absolute dribble last week because he couldn't catch a cold in the Arctic. I'm also happy when they play well. Like if I'm having a crack at anyone, it's more his defensive positioning. But you saw it today. He started off similar again, where Jesse had to ground the ball where he should have been. But I'd say 90% of that game, he was best on ground by a country mile. That Stone Street escort. Give me.
That was tough, wasn't it? Rob, that was tough, wasn't it?
Sammy's running back like this, and he's watching the play.
Yeah.
He doesn't escort him. He doesn't lean into him. That was a bit tough. He doesn't even move. He just gets run into the back of the shoulder.
Doesn't drop shoulders. Doesn't like.
That was tough.
Yeah. Give me a break.
That was tough. All right, Rob, give us your 3, 2, 1, and then we'll get 2.0's 3, 2, 1, and then we'll get to get out of here.
3, 2, 1. I mean, can I just say that Talakai would have got 3 had he had more than 23 minutes?
Yeah, he was good.
Jeezy looked good in the middle, just bending the line. And so the threat with his hands, the ball in 2 hands, he looked amazing. But I can't really give him 3. Kennedy 3. Jeezy, he played well. What I really liked from Kennedy was he's seemed to me from time to time this season a bit lazy. Makes that tackle and wanders back. He really sprinted back. He made a tackle, try-saving tackle, and boom, he's run back to the position he needs to be in case something goes to shit again. So 3 for that. 2 has got to be Tricky. 4 try assists, as you said, Frank.
Really, you give a Tricky Trindle buddy points. I thought he had a bad game. All right, fair enough. Keep going.
No, I'm going to give that. Geez. And AFB, despite the groin injury, we've all had groin injuries from time to time. I thought he was great.
I think he had a good game either, Rob.
We can disagree. That's
the whole point. Yeah, well, yeah, goodness. I thought AFB had his worst game in Sharks colours.
Does it mean he played better than other people, though? It was his worst game in best colour. I think he was still dodgy. And like I said, the 2 dodgy pass backs, but still, he still bent the line every time. And he was a threat. And he makes people tackle, bunch up.
He is a threat.
So no matter what, he could probably blow his nose and still cause a threat. Anyway.
All right, fair enough. Anything else from you, Rob, before we let you get out of here and get to reading your books and DVD collection?
It's books, but no, it's all right.
There's an amazing book collection you've got here, mate.
It's nerd alert, 4,000 science fiction and fantasy books.
Well, when we launch our science fiction podcast with Franco, we'll have to get you on, Rob. All right, mate, you're an absolute legend. Thanks for coming on the show. We'll say goodbye to you and see you in the comments and see you in a couple of weeks. I'm sure you'll come on again. It's always a good having you on, mate.
Live long and prosper. May the force be with you.
See you, mate. All right, thanks, Rob Walensky, joining us there. All right, I'm going to switch to this view, and then we're going to say 2.0. Can you give us your 3, 2, 1 before we get my final thoughts and Franco's on the match?
That's the one. Sammy Stone Street. That grab he had. I thought he was strong all day. He didn't make a mistake today, and I'm not counting that BS penalty against him as an error. That was ridiculous. 2, I'm going to give it to Cam McGuinness. I was actually, you know what? 2, I'm going to give 1 point to Cam McGuinness, 1 point to Blake Brayley. I thought their defense through the middle was outstanding all game. They just continue to solidify the middle, and you can tell when Atkinson comes on, whilst he's all right defensively, he's not anywhere close to those two boys, and it just drains us through the middle. And anyone that's saying Atkinson shouldn't be released immediately, please.
No,
I'd
should
let
be
him go
released.
tomorrow if I could. He should be released. He's not adding value.
We need him in case we have injuries. We need him. Maybe the Dragons.
Jay Dykes is back now.
Nah, we're not paying him much. 2.0, we've already paid him for, 5 months left of the pay cycle, and we're now in the season. You don't let players go now. That's
the only reason we'd be letting him go is if the Dragons want to do some kind of swap deal where we manage to pick up another young gun from their ranks.
I'll take Egan. But I don't think he should be in the 17. I think the reason they have him in the 17 because Nico's had injuries the last 2 years, and it's a great. If it comes off and Nico goes down, he's a genius. Apart from that, he has no value. 3 points today is William David Peachy Kennedy. His best game in Sharks jumper by a long stretch.
Or at least for a while, anyway.
Well, for the first 10 minutes, his positioning was out again, and then he got into the position, and it just gave him confidence. He stopped a try with his little dribble, and then that try he should have scored 80 meters long, and then that try he actually did score. Unbelievable. Just reminded you of Peachy so much, didn't it? He was the reason why we ended up getting the chocolates.
Peachy at the end of his career when Peachy couldn't run fast anymore.
Well, Kennedy's never been able to run fast, but we'll take it.
That's definitely true. All right, 2.0. Thanks for coming in and giving us your point of view. We'll say thank you, sir, and we'll see you next time, legend. All right. Franco, you want to give us your 3, 2, 1?
Oh, yeah, I can give my 3, 2, 1. Out of the blue, I'm giving my 1 to Teague Wilton, actually. I felt that he was pretty good in terms of effort. He ran a lot of decoy lines. He broke tackles, got a bit of space for the guys around him. I thought he had a really good game. I think 4 missed tackles or something like that. That doesn't look great on the stat sheet, but really in that heat, I think he did really well. So he gets my 1. Brayley gets my 2. He was huge in defence. He really shored up that middle. Little Energizer Bunny. I would have liked to have seen him take a few more darts than what he did, but he was there. He was present, and kept the game flowing pretty well. And I think everyone's going to give 3 points to Kennedy, aren't they?
I think they probably are. All right, I'll give you my 3, 2, 1s as we round out the show and you say thank you, everyone, for watching.
We got one more thing before you hang up.
All right, Franco, go. Yeah, what do you got?
So last week we did a give this game a score out of 10.
Oh, yeah, you like that, don't you?
Yeah, so get it in the comments. What do you think this game rates out of 10? Go, Boldo.
Well, I'm going to bell curve it. So it's going to be pretty hard to get I'm going to give it 4.
A 4? Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty rubbish game.
Pretty rubbish game. Did we get your score from the Canberra match?
In terms of quality of game, that one was also a 4.
Okay, because we pretty much gave it a 4 for the Canberra match.
Yeah,
This game, look, I give it I'm going to give it a 6. I would have given it a 5.5 if we allowed decimal places. But yeah, I'll give it a 6. I'll round it up.
We might have gotten the highest score. In terms of entertainment, I guess it was entertaining, but they didn't have that try at the end. So anyway. Well, look, thanks for everyone here. Rob Walensky, 6 for defence. Thanks for everyone for watching. And I just want to say shout out to Solve Accounting, again, our partner and sponsor of the debrief. As for my 3-2-1, I thought the bench was the difference with the Sharkies today. And I thought Toby Rudolph, we didn't give him much airtime, but I thought he was particularly strong when he came on and had some good runs and was unlucky with one little error that came in there. So I'm going to give him 1. I'm going to say 2 to Tom Hazelton. I thought he was absolutely terrific as well. Got an absolute monster fantasy score. And then 3 points. Yep, the much maligned Will Kennedy can't be understated. I think he had an absolute terrific game and is very rare for us to have just a clear man of the match on the debrief, isn't it, Franco? So anytime that happens, so we'll see how that goes. All right, that was the debrief right on the hour mark. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It's a lot of fun doing the debrief, isn't it, Franco? And Sharks get a win. Always a little bit more fun when that happens too. So we will see you live for the Tuesday night show at 8:30 p.m. Sydney time. And then we will also have an opposition fan preview. I think we'll try and get a Chronicles out and all the other normal rubbish and galaga that we get on with. And we will see you guys next time. Up Cronulla.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.